Today, we're going on a bit of a quest. We're going to tackle a huge, and I mean huge, challenge. How do you find information you can actually trust online? This is such a critical skill, so let's just dive right in. So let me start by asking you a question. When you think about the internet, what pops into your head? Does it feel like this incredible, perfectly organized library with every answer you could ever want? Or does it feel more like a giant winding maze where it's just so easy to get lost? Well, here's the secret. It's kind of both. The internet is an absolutely amazing resource, no doubt about it. But you really need a map to find your way around. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to draw a path through that maze to find the good stuff, the real treasure. So our first stop on this journey is just getting the lay of the land. I want you to imagine the internet as the biggest, most massive library ever created. It's powerful, it's incredible, but there's a catch. And this is the most important thing to remember. This library has millions and millions of pages, but not every single one is accurate, not even close. That's why we can't just grab the first thing we see. We have to learn how to search smart and be really choosy about our sources. Okay, so if it's a mix of treasure and junk, how do we find the reliable stuff? That brings us to our next section, knowing exactly where to start digging for information you can actually trust. Think of this as your treasure map. These are 4 fantastic starting points for pretty much any search you're doing: educational websites, digital libraries, online encyclopedias, and scientific articles. These are almost always well-vetted, reliable places to kick off your quest for knowledge. And to make this super real for you, here are a couple of awesome examples. You've got the Egyptian Knowledge Bank, also known as the EKB, and the Alexandria Digital Library. These are incredible digital libraries just packed with dependable information. They're exactly the kind of treasure we're looking for. All right, so you've found a source, and it looks promising. Now what? Well, now it's time to put on your detective hat. This next part is all about the toolkit you need to investigate the info you find. Here's a super simple 4-step checklist you can use every single time. First up, check the author or publisher. Is this a real expert or respected organization? Second, check the date. Is this information fresh or is it totally out of date? Third, look for mistakes. Simple spelling or grammar errors can be a major red flag. And finally, just look at how it's presented. Does it look professional? Is it clear and easy to follow? Now that we've got our toolkit, let's talk about what we're trying to avoid. Because for all the treasure on the internet, there are also plenty of traps. Let's figure out how to spot them from a mile away. Okay, here's your main warning sign. You've got to be really, really careful with unofficial or unknown websites. A lot of the time, they can have misleading info or even straight-up fake news. It's always best to be skeptical and not rely on them as your only source. So what's the golden rule? What's the single best way to avoid falling into these traps? It really all comes down to this one simple idea. Compare what you find across multiple sources. If you see a few reliable places all saying the same thing, then you can feel way more confident that the information is accurate. We are so close to the end of our journey. We've learned how to find good information and how to steer clear of the bad. So the final step is understanding what our responsibility is once we have that knowledge. This is so important. Whenever you're using information for a project, doesn't matter if it's for school, for work, or just for fun, always list your sources. This isn't just about some boring rule, it's about showing respect for the people who created that information and their hard work. All right, let's just quickly lock in a couple of key ideas from today. First, intellectual property. That's just the official term for the rights that creators have over the things they make. And fake news, which we all hear about, is just what it sounds like: false information dressed up to look like the real thing. Knowing these terms helps us all be smarter digital citizens. And this is what it all adds up to. When you search carefully, when you check your sources, when you give credit, you become a responsible digital researcher. You become someone who not only finds awesome information, but actually values it and knows how to share it with others in a safe and helpful way. So, there you have it. We've given you the map and we've given you the detective's toolkit. But really, this is just the start of your adventure. That great online library is out there waiting for you. So the only question left is, what are you going to discover next?